Thank you for tuning in to the Voice of the Victim podcast. We discuss a lot of sad and potentially triggering things on this show. We try to be as sensitive and cautious as possible, but if you are sensitive to things involving abuse and may be triggered, please think twice before listening to our show.
Welcome to the Voice of the Victim podcast. My name's Ryan.
And I'm Rosie.
And tonight we have a little bit more of a lighthearted episode. Next week we are sharing a listener story that we're very excited to share with you. But this week I kind of wanted to do something a little easier on the old brain.
On the old docket?
Yeah. As you know, Rosie, I've had a rough couple of weeks between allergies, and because of allergies, I've been pretty down. So it's just been a rough couple of weeks. You guys might have noticed we didn't upload last week because it was really, I was really out of it. Mm-hmm. So I figured to get back into the swing of things, we do something that may have been concerning some of our listeners, given the nature of our show. It's the Wayfair child trafficking conspiracy theory. Mm-hmm. So we're going to go through some of the details that we know, and we're going to start with some of the images that our friend Jamie shared with us, because she was on top of this as soon as it broke.
She was on top of it.
She was like, you guys got to talk about this.
And we were like, what?
Yeah, so she sent us, she told us to look up this Instagrammer named, what was it? Little Miss Patriot? I think.
I was just on the phone with her, and she told me, and I already have forgotten. It's little.miss.patriot.
Yeah, so credit to her for breaking the story, because this is how we found out about it. So we're going to go through those stories and kind of let it unfold the way we learned about it. And then we're going to go through some other sources and try to come to a conclusion of where we land and present the facts so you can come to your own conclusion. So, Rosie, do you see these images? Mm-hmm. We have 60 pages of images. Our outlets are typically like 15 pages, maybe 20, but this one's 60 because of all of these Instagram images. So let's jump into it.
Okay, so what I'm staring at right now is a Wayfair page. And I am seeing different storage cabinets on this Wayfair
Okay,
page.
Before you get into that, I'm going to walk it through step by step. So the first story that we found said, on Reddit, there was a thread exposing Wayfair for child trafficking. They were reported and has since removed their listings for utility cabinets. I'm going to show you the images and screenshots taken by so many people before they took it down. So these postings were removed, which really added to the suspicion.
Right.
So now do you want to describe what you're seeing?
Okay, well, like I said, it's just the Wayfair page, which everybody knows what Wayfair is, I'm assuming. It's like Overstock.com or even a fancier Amazon for furniture.
Yeah, it's a reseller page where you can list your items.
So honestly, when I first heard about this, I was like, this is dumb. Like, they're storage cabinets. But I will say that each storage cabinet is named like a real person's name. There's Naraya, Yaritza, Annabelle, Allison, and they are going for insane amounts. Like, the Naraya one is $14,499.
Yeah.
And then the lowest price would be, Allison, which is $8,600. So it's like very strange to me that these storage cabinets are that expensive.
So the price, like you mentioned, is one of the things that made it suspicious. The other thing was the human names,
right,
as you said. And Also, the fact that there were only one photo of each cabinet. One of the things was, who is going to buy a cabinet for $8,000 with only one photo? They can't even see the inside of it or the back or the, you know.
Right.
So this was one of the sticking points. And then, here was the kicker. On Reddit, someone found correlating missing persons that matched the names of the cabinets. So, for instance, Yaritza Castro was matched to a cabinet and was a missing person. Same with Samaya, who was matched to a missing person. I mean, those cabinets were going for $13,000. Like you said, exorbitant prices. Is that the right word?
No.
But it's haunting, you know? When you just see these details.
Right. So, like, the thing that made me think a little bit more about this is that, well, first of all, there's storage cabinets. And I don't know about you guys, but very rarely am I going to be shopping online for a storage cabinet anyway. So I'm like, well, maybe that was part of it, like burying it, covering it up.
Yeah.
Like when this really boring search, you know, I don't think people are searching for storage cabinets on Wayfair very often.
Yeah, so before we move on, we should explain in detail what the theory was. The theory was that people would buy these cabinets, and when they were shipped to the house, it would contain the kid that matched the name, or the missing person that matched the name on the cabinet. And there's also a theory that you had to buy all of the different pieces of furniture, like a whole set, and it added up to like hundreds of thousands of dollars, and then you'd get it. So there were different theories going around. Like we mentioned, the cabinets were named using human names, and people theorized they're big enough to hold a human, and they had the correlating missing persons for each of the cabinets. Okay, so there was this other detail that got people really curious about what the heck's going on. All of the cabinets had quote-unquote SRC USA in the description name when it was on Wayfair.
So what would that mean?
That's a good question. Someone went to Yandex, which is a Russian search engine, and typed in SKU followed by the number, correlating unit number, matching the cabinet, and nothing happened. But then they tried typing in SRC USA, which was in the description of all the cabinets, and followed that by the number, and then they got a lot of results. So the results were not exactly what they were expecting. It was a bunch of pictures of young girls, young kids. So this gave them another reason to be suspicious. And among these pictures was even a picture of Bill Clinton, apparently, who's, you know, always in the center of child trafficking conspiracy. But then the nation's beloved father of the U.S., you know who I'm talking about?
Donald Trump?
No, dude. I'm talking about the beloved
You're being
actor.
sarcastic.
He played Woody.
Tom Hanks?
Tom Hanks. He posted a picture.
How am I
on
supposed to get Tom Hanks from that?
Oh, I thought you
Beloved father.
I thought you were
of...
familiar with this information. I'm sorry.
No, I'm coming in blind to some of this.
Okay.
So.
Well, Tom Hanks had posted a picture on his Instagram a while back of a glove on the ground.
Oh yeah, I've seen that
next to SRC USA, written on the street, which matches.
What? No, I don't want to get Tom mixed up in this.
So the theory is,
I'm looking it up right now,
that SRC USA was pedophile code. That's a theory, okay?
but he takes random pictures of a lot of different things. Like, for instance, these pair of tube socks.
Sure.
He takes pictures of things that he randomly finds in the street, like a card on the street.
Well, it's very interesting that you point that out. It's shocking. Like, why does this correlate? Obviously, no one wants to believe that about Tom Hanks. Most people adore him.
I'm trying to find the one that you're actually talking about, because he's got so many random...
I wonder if he took it down because people started going nuts on it.
Well, there's multiple glove photos, actually. And, each glove that I'm looking at, I'm not seeing any wild stuff. But that's like his thing. He honestly has a habit of taking pictures of random things in the street.
That's good to know. So someone found a review on one of these products of someone who had purchased it.
Okay.
It was a 5-star review from December 2016. It said, checked many other sites and this was a great deal. Fast shipping, thank you. Jana from Walnut Creek, California.
What a monster.
Well, there's this article from March 1st, 2020. Walnut Creek arrest reveals secret world of child sex trafficking. In Walnut Creek, girls as young as 9 years old allegedly being bought and sold in the Bay Area. So this is another connection people made. There's a lot of weird stuff coming up here, but if you're having a hard time following exactly what's going on, you're not alone.
Okay.
It's very complicated, and it's very much a theory, but people did find it suspicious that Wayfair took down those listings right away. Then there were the $10,000 Zodiac pillows. People theorized these had like body parts in them or something. Like
pillows?
Yeah.
Do we have a picture of these pillows?
And then it's on page 32.
Oh, you have just jumped ahead, buddy. Oh, there's the glove.
I've been scrolling nonstop as I talk because I'm trying not to spend too much time.
Okay, I'm now looking at the Tom Hanks glove picture, and I'm not impressed. Well,
with his photography or with the theory?
Actually, I feel like I am a little
impressed with his photography.
No, I'm not impressed with anything, but it does say SRC USA.
And again, that was in the product description of all of these cabinets.
We could say, though, that Tom Hanks did not know that, and he was just taking a picture of a glove, because he does that.
True. Or it could have been a glove from a child.
Nope, that is not, well...
Rosie, right now we're talking about the conspiracy theory. Later on, we'll get to the skeptic part.
Okay.
So, Wayfair changed the price of those pillows moments after people discovered them and started talking about them on Reddit. So that was also strange. Then there's Ghislaine Maxwell.
Oh, the pillows. Okay.
You finally got to the pillows.
Okay, I am a little concerned about the pillows because, first of all, no one's going to buy a dumb pillow for $10,000. These pillows look like a $15 Amazon pillowcase. And then Tori Dunning, a 15-year-old from Mount Airy, North Carolina, went missing. And these pillows are called Dunning Zodiac sign pillows.
Oh.
How weird is that?
Thank you for making that connection.
That's a little odd.
It's odd.
Because why else would a pillow be that much? But also, I don't know. I mean, I know there's freaks out there, but why would someone pay $10,000 for pieces of a person and a pillow?
Well,
that is so messed up.
I mean, I just mentioned Ghislaine Maxwell connected to Wayfair. We talked about Jeffrey Epstein. He was shelling out tons of money. We know a lot of the people that get involved in child sex trafficking are billionaires. Mm-hmm. So is this chump change to them? Like, who knows? But again, we're just talking about a theory.
And so now I'm looking at this Bungalow Rose brand. Have you looked into that at all?
What page are you on?
I'm in 20 or 30. But what's interesting about the Bungalow Rose brand is that's the brand that made that Zodiac pillow. And they have other things on their site that are like bizarre and strangely priced, like rugs for $22,000, $10,000 shower curtains.
Jeepers.
That are only on Wayfair. That
is really bizarre.
There are no other stores that sell Bungalow Rose items. I don't know, this just gets weirder and weirder. I don't really...
There's a baby album. It's $11,199.
What is it exactly?
For a baby album.
Oh, okay.
Which doesn't make any sense.
No.
Man, oh boy.
What were you saying about Ghislaine Maxwell? What does she have to do with this situation?
There was apparently a theory that there are pictures of Ghislaine Maxwell with the president of Wayfair. we'll talk more in detail about that later when we get to the next part. But Wayfair, of course, they denied these claims. They said there's no truth to them. And it came out that if an item is temporarily out of stock, instead of removing the listing, which is a headache, they just change the price to a ridiculous amount so no one buys it. So that was kind of the explanation, the simple explanation. Also, I don't want to burst the bubble if anyone is hoping that Tom Hanks was involved, but the writing that was on the street there, SRC USA is actually a marking used by people working in the water utilities business to mark water mains.
Okay.
So it's nothing nefarious as far as the street marking that Tom Hanks took a picture of. That's just used to mark water mains or underground piping. You look baffled.
I'm having a slightly hard time following this one. But I think that's normal because it's supposed to be baffling. Well,
that's one of the cornerstones of conspiracy is conspiracy theory is that it's way too complicated to understand unless you pour your soul into it.
Right. I haven't been able to pour anything into anything except for wine into a cup. So I need to get on this.
This episode of Voice of the Victim podcast is sponsored by Podcorn. Rosie and I are very passionate about the things we talk about on this podcast, and it takes a lot of time and energy to make.
The sponsors help us be able to work less at our other jobs and spend more time making the show the best it can be.
Which sounds great, but we had no idea where to start when we wanted to find sponsors. But thankfully, the awesome people over at Podcorn have really helped us out with that.
Podcorn is a simple and easy-to-use marketplace that connects podcasters directly to amazing sponsorship opportunities. There's no middleman, so podcasters can choose what their specific rate is and collaborate directly with brands.
And personally, I prefer when ad breaks don't change the tone of the episode or just sound like they don't belong. And that's why I love being able to do host-read ads so it doesn't break the tone.
You don't need to give up creative control or rights to your podcast to use Podcorn. And the people that work there are always willing to help and work with you to make the process painless.
Yeah, seriously, they're very cool, very kind people. And they secure the funds before we even start working on the ads. So they make sure we're paid when we're done.
The marketplace mission of Podcorn is to give podcasters transparency, creative freedom, and full control of how and when they monetize their hard work.
And we know podcasters work hard. So if you're a podcaster of any size, click the link in our show notes to sign up to Podcorn and start browsing opportunities to find your own sponsors. So now we're going to share what we found on Snopes.com. Snopes is a popular website which addresses rumors and tries to find the truth based on facts. So, again, this is according to Snopes. We're just passing along the message. We don't know the truth. But, obviously, if there is any kind of child sex trafficking going on Wayfair, we want that not to be true. We don't want that. So, I kind of want to try to put our minds at ease. Hopefully this isn't actually going on. We're going to read directly from Snopes.
All right. It says, in July of 2020, some social media users accused the furniture store Wayfair of trafficking children. This gravely serious accusation was not based on police reports, first-hand accounts, financial records, or deep investigative reporting. Rather, it was based on the fact that some items on Wayfair were listed at exorbitant prices.
Exorbitant. That's the word I said earlier, and I wasn't sure if I used it right, but now I feel better about it.
Good.
So, a pretty serious claim to make, like we just said. Obviously, this is a huge deal if it's true. And I do gotta give props. That was bad grammar. I need to give props to the people who did put these details together because they are looking out for children that may be in danger. So, they have good intentions. I know Wayfair might interpret it as terrible, but there's a lot of suspicious stuff that we just talked about.
Right.
So I do have to give credit to people for actually putting this together and caring enough about children who may be in danger to talk about it.
Mm-hmm.
So do you want to continue?
Mm-hmm. It says, this rumor appears to have originated on the conspiracy section of Reddit on July 9th, 2020. That post noted that Wayfair was selling utility closets from WFX that were priced at more than $10,000 and offered child trafficking as a possible explanation. That post, like so many other conspiracy theories, offered this notion as a mere possibility and said it would be stomach-churning if true.
Big if true. Gotta agree with that.
Is it possible Wayfair involved in human trafficking with their WFX utility collection? Or are these just extremely overpriced cabinets? It is possible because no cabinets are that much.
Very true.
I don't know. But, okay, why aren't people buying the cabinets to see what happens?
It's interesting you mentioned that. I was going to save this detail for the end, but one of the YouTubers that have covered this, he's a pretty big YouTuber, Penguin Zero. He tried buying one of these $10,000 pillows.
And what happened?
It came back, his card got declined and said it couldn't complete your order.
But it wasn't his card?
No, it was, well, I added the card got declined part. It said they couldn't complete his order because it was out of stock. So that lends credence to the claim that these are just items that are out of stock, but they don't want to have to take down a listing and relist it later. So they just make the price wild so no one buys it. I don't know why they don't do like $1 million just to make sure no one buys it.
Why don't they just put a picture over it that says out of stock instead of taking the whole thing down?
True. Well, everyone has different tactics for business.
All right, I'll keep reading. This post led to other users combing the Wayfair website in search of other oddities. One Twitter user, for instance, found a set of pillows and shower curtains that were listed for $9,999. As similar items on the website were listed for only $99, this person assumed that the only logical explanation was that the higher-priced item was being used to traffic children. The Twitter user wrote, "If you search Bungalow Rose, a bunch of shower curtains and pillows show up priced at $9,999. Wayfair is effing trafficking children. What the F? They all have big price jumps to like 12 or 10 grand. Wayfair also supplies the furniture at ICE detention centers where children go missing." What? They go missing from the ICE?
So, oh my God, it's Immigration and Customs Enforcement. Apparently, children have been going missing from there. Missing children. U.S. loses track of another 1,500 migrant children. Well, this was in 2018. But again, who knows how long this supposed operation has been going on. And, like, even if this Wayfair thing's not true, there's still so much of it actually going on that is still secretive. So we're not trying to make light of that at all. We're just going through this particular theory that has some cracks in it. So the article continues, generally speaking, the images showing expensive cabinets and large price differentials on pillows, shower curtains, and other items on Wayfair's website are real. However, it takes quite a leap in logic to arrive at the conclusion that this is evidence that the store is engaged in child trafficking. True.
Right.
But
totally.
then you add the details of the names and the prices and the missing correlating children. That does make it a little more believable. But you want to continue or should I?
I can. In fact, the more we pondered this claim, the more nonsensical it appeared. Would a large business really use their official website to allow people to purchase children online? As these items are available to anyone with internet access, wouldn't it be possible for someone to accidentally become involved in child trafficking? And why would a child trafficking operation use a method that would be so easy to track?
That is a very good question. I do have to say, it seems like Snopes kind of went into this, like, really doubtful, with a little bit of bias towards doubt. But that's a good question. Why would they not be using the dark web
Yeah, that's my question too. Like, what if some super rich guy just was like, oh yeah, that does look nice, and didn't care about the price? Like, I don't know. I'm not trying to doubt it either. I'm just trying to look at it super logically. Like, this seems
but then again,
really different.
Then again, hiding in plain sight, some people use that as a tactic too. Like, oh, they'll never suspect this because it's so obvious.
Moving on, it says, this claim is largely based on the idea that $10,000 is simply too expensive for a cabinet, and that there has to be some other explanation. Child trafficking, to justify its cost.
True.
In a statement to Newsweek, however, Wayfair noted that these were industrial-grade cabinets and that they had been accurately priced.
Really?
Wayfair said that they temporarily removed these items as the accompanying descriptions did not accurately explain the reason for the price point.
Huh. Now that's interesting that they actually were worth that much money.
No, they're not. That's just something Wayfair said.
Which makes it suspicious. But Wayfair made a statement to Newsweek. They said, there is, of course, no truth to these claims. The products in question are industrial-grade cabinets that are accurately priced. Recognizing that the photos and descriptions provided by the supplier did not adequately explain the high price point, we have temporarily removed the products from the site to rename them and provide a more in-depth description and photos that accurately depict the product to clarify the price point. Okay,
I'm going to tell you right now that I just looked on Uline's website for a industrial grade storage cabinet.
Very smart idea.
And do you want to guess the amount? It looks almost identical to the ones on Wayfair.
$400.
No, $3,000.
What?
That's still half the price.
True.
I'm just going to say. And that's
like more than a lift for your car. That's crazy.
Again, I don't know why you would need these.
I would never spend that much money on a cabinet.
I don't either, but I'm just telling you, like, I just looked up other ones and they don't seem to be like that expensive. So I don't know what is so special about the Wayfair ones other than the conspiracy theory.
Fascinating. They continued, as this rumor circulated on social media, people chimed in with additional evidence, quote-unquote evidence, of Wayfair's supposedly nefarious actions, and we've gone over a lot of this. It says, for instance, some claim that searching for the stock keeping unit number, SKU, associated with these items preceded by the term SRC USA on the Russian search engine returned images of young female children, which we discussed. This is bizarrely true. However, searching for just about any random string of numbers preceded by the SRC USA returns similar results. So, that's weird.
Can I also say that the one I was looking at was fire resistant? Most of them are around $300 to $500.
Okay, see, that's where I guessed. $400, right? So, that makes more sense. But my question is, why would a term used for marking water mains on the street bring up images of young girls on a Russian search engine?
Right.
That is strange. Also, the Russian image hosting website, Image SRC, apparently has previously hosted child pornography images. So, Snopes reached out to Yandex for more information about these search results, and they're still waiting to hear back to figure out why these images come up. Others claimed that these products carried the names of children who had gone missing. We discussed that. Annabelle, they corresponded it to Annabelle Wilson, who had gone missing in Kansas. And it seems suspicious when you're seeking a pattern, but there's also the fact that there are more than 400,000 entries for missing juveniles in just 2019 in the FBI's National Crime Info Center. You know,
that doesn't shock me that much, the first name thing, because like IKEA does that, and even Amazon will do that sometimes. So that's not that strange to me.
And there's so many names in the database of missing people. You're going to find a name that correlates to everything.
Exactly. I mean, the specific names that they chose were kind of unique more than others, some of them. But still, I don't know.
There's more information, though, about these names that they matched. Olivia, which is Alyvia, they matched it to Olivia Navarro.
That is a little strange because of the spelling.
Yeah, but this child went missing. She was an autistic child that went missing at the age of 3 in 2013, and unfortunately was found dead shortly after she went missing.
Okay, so that one's debunked.
And she drowned in a nearby pond. Then there were other people that came forward on like Instagram. There were 2 girls I know of that came forward who were these missing people that they matched these names. Mm-hmm. And they were like, I've been found. These names apparently stick around in the database even if they're found. And some of the names, the girls that they matched to these cabinets, they're like, why are you talking about me?
Well, that's weird.
Stop telling people I'm still missing.
Yeah, that's very odd.
If you're curious about that, it was Samaya Mumin, SAMIYHMUMIN. She came forward on Instagram, I believe. Yep, so look that up if you're curious. So the article continues, on July 13th, 2020, proponents of this theory started sharing a mugshot of a man in a Wayfair shirt representing with the merch, and they claimed that he had recently been arrested as part of a trafficking ring. That is odd. It was a genuine photograph of Frederick Walker Jr., who was arrested on June 21st, 2020 during a prostitution sting in Barnesville, Georgia.
Oh, not good.
However, those sharing this image as proof of the Wayfair conspiracy theory failed to mention that this person was just one of nearly 24 people who were arrested during this sting, and that none of the other people arrested were wearing Wayfair shirts. And there was no evidence that the victims in this case were children. I'm going to say it, the fact that no one else was wearing Wayfair shirts isn't that extraordinary.
Right. So, okay, if you have a Wayfair shirt, does that mean that you work for Wayfair? Because I don't feel like people are randomly going to wear that.
Right?
Yeah, that seems a little strange, but I think that this is kind of like its own situation. I don't feel like it's really tied to it.
Yeah, I have no idea. But Snopes basically says this entire claim that Wayfair is trafficking children is based almost entirely on one person's confusion over an expensive cabinet.
Well, I wouldn't say it's confusion. I think they were genuinely concerned and had some good backing.
I agree with that. Like I said, we were just reading from Snopes just then, so that's not our opinion. That's just what we were reading. But like I said earlier, and like you just said, people are concerned. When they can connect dots like this, it's not because they're crazy, wacky conspiracy theorists. It's not because they're trying to take someone down. It's because they're concerned.
I mean, we're not talking about lizard people. Like, this kind of stuff does happen. So I understand where this person, I understand where they were coming from, just trying to get to the bottom of it. And who knows, maybe it is real. Like, I'm not going to say, no, it's not. And I'm also not going to say, yes, I'm convinced. I'm very much in limbo.
Same. I feel like a lot of the evidence leans toward this is just a theory, it's not true, which is what I want to believe. So now we're going to talk about some of the claims that were made as proof that this is true. This is according to PoconoRecord.com. There's this claim that Niraj Shah, the chief executive officer of the furniture company at Wayfair, has resigned amid child sex trafficking allegations against the company. So that looks suspicious, if true. But do you want to read the facts?
Okay, so the facts are that Shah has not stepped down, according to a Wayfair spokesperson.
So there's another claim, a video of a 6-year-old girl being instructed to show her hands and profile before jumping on a couch, where she plays with a doll and talks about prices on Wayfair. And people allege that this was evidence that the online retailer is involved in human trafficking. Again, sketchy.
Not much information on the background of this, but okay.
So, someone found a video of a young 6-year-old girl talking about Wayfair.
That's just so random.
I know. But what are the facts?
Well, the video was actually an audition tape for a Wayfair commercial that was uploaded by the girl's mother. Okay.
Yeah, so that's a pretty simple answer.
Social media users are circulating this audition video that captures the girl dressed in a green shirt and overalls, various angles, and says that it's evidence to support the conspiracy theory about Wayfair trafficking young children.
But again, it's just an audition tape for a commercial. So the next claim is a photo that shows Ghislaine Maxwell with the president of operations at Wayfair, like we talked about earlier. Mm-hmm. The 2003 photo of Ghislaine Maxwell shows her with George Bamford, founder of Bamford Watch Department. Wayfair, a company that sells furniture and home goods online, currently does not have a president of operations. So that kind of puts that down the drain. So not only was this not the man they claimed it was, who is Bill Hutcherson, but they don't even have the person of this role that they claimed
at the time.
So that addresses some of the claims. Again, like we said, kids have come forward, the kids whose names matched these items. The SRC USA thing is a marking for water mains. So a lot of these aspects of the theory itself are unsubstantiated. Mm-hmm. What do you think, Rosie?
I don't think. I don't know. I'm still just as baffled as I was when we started this. Mm-hmm. And honestly, I don't think we're ever going to know. So, I don't know.
That seems to be what's the word I'm trying to think of? Consensus, mm-hmm. I guess. Anyway, that's all we really got on this topic.
It's just kind of bizarro.
It's been taking the internet by storm.
I don't know. I think I'm going to watch a couple of YouTube videos about it. Mm-hmm. But probably should have done that before.
I suggest people do that.
Yeah, it's a weird situation. It's a weird week of recording because I feel like we haven't recorded in months, even though it's only been a week. Yeah,
kind of out of the swing of things. But last week we did release a Patreon video of our house tour.
Yes,
so we did. We wanted to still give our patrons something last week, even though we couldn't get an episode out. Mm-hmm. And I'm sorry, guys. Just been in a little bit of a funk.
It wasn't me, actually. It was Ryan, not me.
Yeah, I feel like part of it is also just, the world's in a really weird place right now. Life is not the way it is supposed to be.
And no, we don't have the vid.
No.
We're COVID-free.
I did worry about that.
About people thinking
like you do these days.
Oh, you worried
when I was feeling sick with allergies, I thought, oh, crap, I got it. But no, I didn't. It was just allergies. But I think I'm just, a little bit sad that life is the way it is right now.
Well, you know what?
As well as everyone else,
We don't live in the highest point of the world in an illegal gold mine. So I think we have it okay.
Is this foreshadowing for something?
No, I fell into a few rabbit holes in the past few days on YouTube late at night, which to me means 8. And found out some things, and I'm thankful for where I live, and I'm not going to complain about it anymore.
Well, that's good. Maybe we'll talk about what you're thinking about in the future.
I can talk about it right now.
Gold mine on top of a mountain?
It's in Peru, and it's it's so high up that people have a hard time breathing anyways, and it's so moist, and there's no sunlight up there because it's all in the clouds.
Well, we should save it and do a deep dive episode on it. All right, well, we're going to wrap things up for this week. Hopefully this was intriguing. Hopefully it put to rest some of the worries over this. I think the evidence is pointing in favor of this not being true. It's just a very interesting conspiracy theory. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I still conspiracy theories are not my strong suit.
I think they're fascinating when I know that they're wrong.
Yeah.
But this one, I don't 100% know. I genuinely don't believe that there are lizard people.
We're not talking about lizard people.
But I'm talking about a conspiracy that I firmly believe in. Or don't believe in, but think is interesting.
You think this could still be true, huh?
Yeah, I do.
I'm going to fall where I usually fall on mysteries and say I don't know. But I feel better knowing all these facts surrounding it. That, people have come forward of the names that were correlating to the cabinets, saying I'm fine, and that Penguin Zero from YouTube tried to buy one of these, and it wouldn't let him. I think it was one of the pillows, which...
Well, maybe that's just them.
The pillows have to be overpriced. There's no way those pillows are $10,000.
That's what I mean, though. Like, why?
Is that what's kind of a sticking point for you?
Well, kind of.
I think the pillows are what he tried to buy, and it wouldn't let him. But who knows? Hopefully it's not true. Anyway, thank you guys for listening. Hopefully it was interesting to you, because, yeah, I kind of threw it together. And Rosie did let me know that it wasn't my best work. I'm more of a storyteller, not a conspiracy theorist. So
I'm sorry.
No, it's fine. It's going to be painfully obvious, but I'm going to try to edit it into a salvageable piece of our podcast.
Like right now, we're working with a fished out old boot, and I hope that you're able to polish it up to at least an average used sneaker.
The outline was 60 pages.
Right.
Yeah. There's just not that much more information out there, though. Like, I went through the Reddit thread. It was just regurgitating the same thing over and over. Maybe we should have had a guest that's more knowledgeable about it, but I just don't think there is that much information. It's just a lot of weird stuff that all kind of correlates together.
Yeah. Yeah, I think so too. I don't have much to offer. I'm just a PMSy monster right now. There's not much going on in my little noggin. Nothing except wants for chocolate, ketchup, and pickles.
Okay, well, we should probably end it here and get Rosie taken care of. Thank you guys for listening, and we will talk to you next week with a much better story.
We promise.
All right, bye. Wait, you're supposed to say bye.
Bye.